Good evening and welcome to the Dragon Boat Festival 2026. We're so excited to see a full house today, and thank you for joining us. We seem to have a lot of new faces, so how many of you are joining us for the first time? Welcome. And for those who are longtime members, we thank you for your continued support. Your participation meant a lot to us. Thank you, thank you. Our club is now over 450 members. This is the first time we have assigned seating, so I hope everybody's find their seat okay and also be able to make some new friends. We have some special guests tonight. Miss Sarah Burns here is celebrating her 105 years young. To all of us. Our General Manager, Teresa Ostrander, is here. Teresa's staff has been working tirelessly with us to get everything ready, so we're very, very grateful and appreciate her. Richard Zana is here. Richard is our past president and board director. He just finished 5 years with the Seaboard. Richard, thank you for your service. And now Richard has time to come to our parties. So an event of this scale does not happen overnight. We want to thank all the board members who have put months into planning and organizing. There's a lot of effort that goes into it. Thank you. Today we have over 60 people volunteering and helping in all levels. Registration, check-in, decoration, ushers, food delivery, food serving, food cooking. Thank you for all your hard work. And the performers, they spend weeks and months practicing, so I hope you give them a big round of applause after the performance. And make sure you stay to the end because the finale is fantastic. Tonight, the Dragon Boat Festival, we celebrate culture, history, and tradition. But most of all, we're celebrating with good food and good company. So thank you all. Well, Ed has put together a very nice, wonderful program for all of you. So fasten your seatbelt. Enjoy the ride. Thank you.
Thank you, Manda. Thank you very much. Let's get it started. I think some of you guys are hungry already, so I'm going to call the tables in. Hey, servers, I think you guys can come in on your station, please. Thank you very much. I'll draw an odd number and an even number. So the foot line start from that side, come through the center, from that side, come through center, and I'll see what is on menu here in a minute. Aha! Table number 9. Wow! Some hungry people over there. After the first serving, I will announce the second serving as well. So, and in the meantime, I'll explain a little bit what is on the menu today. Tonight, we have certainly the star item. To me, it is the whole roast pig, and it's roasted this morning, and it just got picked up by a couple of us, a couple of us out there, volunteers this afternoon. A second item in there is broccoli chicken from a local restaurant here. Third item is a pan-fried noodles, Chinese pan-fried noodles, also from another local restaurant. And the last item is this thing called sticky rice. It's one of the favorite items that you guys love every year. It's actually from a kitchen up in Belmont area that we have to pick up a couple days ago, and we've seen them earlier today. Guys out here working since 1 o'clock this afternoon, we've seen them. Okay, in honor of our honored guests and distinguished guests, we're going to call table 6, 7. Table 6 and table 7, please come up. Yeah, you.
all my friends. my special coming. So please, start the music. All right. Hope everyone enjoying the beautiful afternoon. So now, all right, the dragon wanted. Oh, look at the camera. Hi. So now, I want to send a real good dragon here, and here's the dragon throat. Let's welcome Margaret. Please come up to the stage. Thank you for the organize. Thank you for having me. Yeah, these are my right side. Okay, everyone, can we come down here? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open up! Prosperity for all of you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Master Wang. The Chinese only 1/3 of us. We are honored. We are honored. 2/3 of you guys are from other part of the world, China. And you guys want to understand China a little bit more, what is our culture and so on. So I'm going to invite 3 distinguished people here, residents here, to come up and share some of their knowledge and their culture, their experience, and so on and so forth. But before I start, I told them I will give you a little bit about what is China. China is that thing up there on the map here, and the size of China is about 3.7 million square miles. Just a bit smaller than us, the United States. And China is a huge country. And I want to bring out a couple of things in here because China is so many people. I think there are like 56 different ethnic groups in China. Although 91% of them are Han, Han people like myself. Most of the people you met here are Han. I know some of them are not Han, but most of us are here Han. I don't know everybody, every Chinese in this club here. And but the Chinese in our community here, or I would say almost in the Bay Area, mostly came from three different. We call Chinese came from three different areas. The main part of China, this big one up there. And then the next part of China that we call China is Taiwan here. We call it China too. And then it's a very small part that you don't even see. It's like I call it like a sesame seed on the map here. That's Hong Kong. That's where I came from. And why? Because Hong Kong was seceded or given to England, in the mid-1850, due to the Opium War. And Taiwan was seceded over to Japan in the late 1800s, in this first Sino-Japanese War. So, in the last couple hundred years, these part of China actually were colonized or managed or taken over by Japanese and by British. So with that said, so I think it is first of all, now with that understanding, I can bring up the screen. Let's go more. We don't need that anymore. So naturally, I'm going to invite three people from these three different areas, because people like us, most of the Chinese who met in this community here, most of us, I wouldn't say 100%, most of us are first generation immigrants into this country. And we came from those three areas. And when we come from those three areas, our culture, our knowledge, our experience is all a little different. And when those three come up here, you can ask them questions and they'll talk about what their experience are. So I'm not a scholar, but I know how to use Google. I also just learned how to use Gemini. So I did a little research. What is Chinese culture? I came here fairly young, so I don't think I have a whole lot of Chinese culture. But Chinese culture really, stems from based on Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. And what is really centered in those beliefs are really family hierarchy, filial piety, and ancestral reverence. We see that as the most important thing, having a social harmony within our family and with our friends. And when these Chinese, people like us, came to this country, this American culture to us is all about individualism, about liberty, about equal opportunity. That's what we know about American. So I think it's just a perfect great fit for people coming from China here to be successful, in this environment. And all of us came here, you're going to find out how did we assimilate into this community. How do we find the American custom? How do we get used to it? How do we live with it? So on. And how do we adjust our own custom, with yours? And then last but not least, the most important thing is I want to share with you guys is that, some of the contributions, these our fellow Chinese, not just these three individuals, a lot of the Chinese in this room here and in this village here, what they have done for us. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the first person to come up here in no particular order. I would like to bring up Steve Yang. Steve and his elegant wife, Ting, is from the Montgomery village. Yes, and Steve has a family of 2 kids and 4 grandkids. Right? I did forget that. Steve has earned his medicine degree in China and practiced medicine for 7 years before he immigrated here. And after he came here, he got his doctorate degree in physiology from from Brigham Young, from Brigham Young, and he did, as a assistant professor at State University of New York in Syracuse, and later on he did a research professor at Missouri, University of Missouri. Right? Wow. I remember all that. See, if I make a mistake, let me know, okay? And Steve in the wheelchair here is an extremely active guy. He is, of course, the vice president of this group of our club here. He's also an active guy in pickleball. He's a fierce pickleball player. And Steve had done a lot of work in research. His project was funded by the National Institute of Health, and he had won many awards from Pfizer and from American Heart Association.
Wow.
Thank you. All right. So Steve from mainland China. Next one up, I want to invite our previous president of the Chinese Club, Helen Hu. If you don't know Helen, you do not belong to the Chinese Club. So you don't belong here. So Helen has been our president for a number of years, and Helen originated from Taiwan, and she got a degree in both finance and business, and she started her career in the pharmaceutical industry first for a number of years, and later on in the Bay Area, she had worked for two major companies here. She worked for Amdo for 13 years, and Cisco for another 13 years. And Helen and her husband, Theron, have two children, have a happy family here, and both their children are, I think, in the Bay Area, right? Yes, correct. And no grandchildren yet. One granddaughter. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow. Sorry about that, I didn't know about that one. Okay, nothing secret, I just don't know. Helen has an outstanding career in all of this company, in Amdo and Cisco, have senior management positions in finance, marketing, customer service, business development, and actually Helen and Theron had the luxury to work in England for 5 years, for Cisco, and he came back here, eventually, and retired with us here, moving here from Palo Alto to the villages, and we're so happy to have her. And big round of applause for Helen. Well, the last guy I want to invite up here, I won't mention his name first. I'll play a trick on you guys. He's a good buddy of mine. He's a great ping pong player. He's also the current president of the Table Tennis Club. And I shouldn't say his name now. Albert is from the village, and with his beautiful wife, Josephine, have two beautiful daughters and one grandkids. That one I know. No mistake about that one. And Albert is a graduate from the University of Illinois, and has a degree in math, and he has a very successful career as a vice president and chief actuary, for a major insurance company. And he also had, founded a online insurance business, and as a consultant for other financial institutions. He's extremely active, like I said, in table tennis. He probably coaches some of you guys, ladies, in the table tennis club. And so he's from Hong Kong, like me. And so we got a guy from mainland China, a lady from Taiwan, and another gentleman from Hong Kong. So I have, with the help of my fellow board members, created 5 questions for them. So I'll start with the first one, and whoever want to answer first, please raise your hand and answer. If not, I'll just take a name and then ask you to answer. So first one is because we really believe, I think all of us here, myself included, most of our teenager years were in our home country. And we really believe, in those years, it's really our, we absorb culture. If I came here, 5 years old, 6 years old, 4 years old, some of my friends are like that, I don't think they really got it, what is it like in there. But if we have spent at least our teenager years back in the home country, we have a lot more understanding what is our culture. We got a lot of things that we talked to by our parents. So first one, the first question is, describe your teenage way of life in your home country, which we think is the roots of our culture. So anybody want to answer that one first? Okay, Helen, please do.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so in 1949, the Nationalist KMT party lost the Civil War to the Communist Party. So the president took about 1.5 to 2 million people, moved from mainland China to Taiwan. My parents were among them. Okay. That created profound impact on many, many families. I can tell you when my mom went to Taiwan, she was 25 years old. She never seen her relatives again until 40 years later. She never saw her mother again. I don't know my grandma, I never seen her. So that impact was very deep in the people in Taiwan. Okay. We, the second generation there, I think we are the fortunate ones because we were sheltered from the war. We were sheltered from the Red Army soldiers in mainland China. We also were sheltered from the starvation that happened in China back in the 1959 to early 60s. So growing up life was tough in the beginning. Of course, I don't remember a lot. My mom said when I was born, she had to sell gold to buy milk for me. Okay, so that was pretty expensive to raise me. But at any rate, but we actually grew up as a normal teenager. We started learning English on the 7th grade, and we were all able to go to college. And many, many of us actually left Taiwan and then came to the U.S. for additional education.
Thank you, Ellen. And Steve, Everett?
I just followed Ellen's story. My parents graduated in communist tour over China, and they established a medical school in the northeast of China. That is before 1949. So both my mom and my dad, they are classmates. So when they graduate, and the communists sent them to very far, from northeast to the southwest of China. So my mom traveled from northeast to Guiyang, that's in the southwest of China. I was in my mom's belly already. So I was born in China, Guiyang, and grew in Guiyang, and living there for 30 years. And we are, the family, everybody's family is trying to get the kids to succeed. So we have a great expectation for us. When I was in middle school, grade school, China started a new educational system. It's going to do a 10 years graded education, and 2 to 10 years from grade to the high school, and then you go to college. So I calculated by 17 years old, I can go to college. So when I was getting to middle school in 1965, and the Great Cultural Revolution has broken out. So all the schools shut down, all the students involved on the Great Cultural Revolution. So they go to do what the Chairman Mao teach us to do. Just rebelling to everything, rebelling to every authority. So the school is closed, and what we do is study the newspaper, the propaganda articles by the Communist Party. So we have a big gap in the education. That is very unfortunate. It's a big turmoil in China. So I get into education later. As in 1973, they started to enroll college students. So I was getting enrolled to a medical school and get my medical degree. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. Albert?
Yeah. I grew up in Hong Kong, but I was actually born in China as well. I was born in a small village, very small rural village, close to a city called Taishan. In fact, Taishan is the place that the early Chinese immigrants came from. The reason being is that in Taishan is very poor. Everybody is essentially farming. So there's no opportunities for younger people to do anything else. So for whoever has connections outside, they'll send their kids overseas, using other people's name, pretending that they are kids of other people. And a lot of them came to the US. My father actually went to the Philippines with his brother when he was 14 years old. And he went there and worked in a bar. And now, he's actually very popular when he came back to China and tried to get married. Because everybody likes this Western connection. Because that's the way for them to escape China. China at that time, in the rural area, was very poor. My father came back and got married in his 20s. And then I was born, and he tried about 10 years to try to get us out of China, and finally succeeded when I was 6 years old. We moved to Hong Kong, which is almost like a different world. Hong Kong, unlike Taiwan and China, was ruled by the British, but it's very peaceful. So we had a very stable life, able to study Chinese and English, enjoy the Chinese food as well as the Western food. And that laid down the foundation for me to be able to come to the US to get educated, which is always my dream. Because again, even though Hong Kong was not a bad place to be, but it's still not like your own country. It's being ruled by the British and governed by the British. And as Chinese in Hong Kong, you never felt that you were equals. So I always wanted to come to the US. The reason being is that I read a lot about the US. I have not found a country that's so open to immigrants. No matter where you come from, you're welcome. I don't see in China, I don't see in Japan, I don't see in Korea, or anywhere else that I came across. So I have the United States is thankful. The reason I'm being here today and I enjoy my retirement life is because of that acceptance by the US.
Very good. Like Google or Gemini, somebody stuff about Chinese. And I learned that, the Chinese is one of the most frugal people race in the country. And our saving rate is higher than the average. Because we've really all gone through some tough times, if not by ourselves directly, we heard a lot of that from our parents. So anyway, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. The second question is that, what were the circumstances or motivations behind your immigration to the United States? Who want to take that one first? Steve? Why don't you go, Steve?
So when China and the U.S. Relationship was changed and when Nixon visited China, So the China opened the door, so give us a chance to go to overseas to study. So because China for almost for many years has been very closing, so we didn't know anything from the outside. So we were taught the capitalism was very bad, and the rich people were very rich, poor people were very poor. So everywhere you can see bads, yeah, because very bad society. The best society is socialism. So, but when they opened the door, we get some of the news came in, we know that's totally different. So also, I would really like to come over to see what's the education system in the Western, and also try to get some of the new thought in science, learn some of the research technique. Yeah. So that's why it motivated me to come to the United States. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. Albert, what next?
When I was growing up, graduating from college, going to America is kind of a dream for all the different students because you get better education, better opportunity, better than staying in Taiwan because Taiwan is a very small island. The resources are limited, so that's kind of the motivation behind most of the college grads to come to the States. And fortunately, I think most of the college grads from Taiwan, they all, one way or the other, they all got scholarship. So they can come to the States to continue their education. They waiter, they serve tables, they wash dishes. It's a tough time, but I think once they got their master or doctorate degree, they can find a better job, life gets better. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Albert?
When I was in Hong Kong, I had a dream. The dream is to be rich. Enjoy my life. And where else can I find it other than America, which is the strongest country in the world. Excellent in business, excellent in marketing, excellent in technology, and receptive to foreigners, and willing to accept us as foreign students. And the only problem is, it was very expensive compared to our living standard. But my parents were very supportive. So they borrowed the money from their friends. And I remember the last thing my dad told me is that he handed me a check. I remember the exact dollar amount. It's $1,510. And he says, son, this is all the money we got. We can borrow. Good luck. From now on, you're on your own. Well, that's okay, because I read about all the foreign students in the U.S. They work hard, they study hard, they got scholarships. I went to a school in Illinois only because they would offer scholarships to anybody who has a high school. And I did that. And then I also worked in the summers, any break times, and I was able to support myself throughout a lifetime. So it is in that light that I chose America to be almost my second home. But as it turned out, I've been here now over 50 years. So it's almost like my first home.
Very good. Thank you.
When I came over, I only have $25.
Now remember, that is for the tuition and room for the school requires as the minimum they would allow me to come over. And the money was actually spent immediately.
I'm better. I had 2,000 in my pocket.
So now we all know where the rich lady is. All right. Awesome. Awesome. You got a great story there, guys. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. So the third question we have is this. What was the most interesting or challenging things you experienced while assimilating into our society in the United States? Interesting?
Sure.
Assimilating? Albert?
The most most difficult thing, which is actually the most interesting thing as well, is that culturally, we're very different than Americans. We behave differently, we follow the elderly, we have family guys who always like to get together with family, and we don't go out to drink after work. We don't date girls on the weekends, we go to libraries and study. So all of these are key differences. And, but over time, it's not that the difference will make it worse, but actually you begin to appreciate each other much better. For example, the Chinese study very hard, very frugal. The reason being is that our parents were typically very poor. And there's a Chinese saying, if you want to be super rich, remember I want to be rich. That's from the sky. The sky is God. So you want super rich, that's God. It's not up to you. But if you want to be moderately rich, that's from the government. That's from you. Saving money, invest wisely. So that's what we try to follow. That's what I just said. Chinese are very frugal. We save a lot of money, and so most of us don't have to worry about retirement. But anyway, the American way, the culture, even though they have a lot of fun, and when they get serious about something, like sports, marketing, business, they go all the way for it. And the Chinese usually are too reserved. They don't speak out because they respect the elderly. They respect the bosses. And that is not a good way to become a good entrepreneur. I learned it from American friends. Squeaky wheels get attention. You must say what you want, but must have a plan to accomplish it. And I followed those advices, and it became successful. So I'm mixing the two. The Chinese culture, which made me very good educationally, and excel in science subjects, but the American way makes me to be more independent or more assertive. Those are the beauties of the two cultures. It's hard to adjust. I still admit that I like Chinese food more than American food. I like to hang around with my affinity groups and speak Cantonese instead of English. And I like to mahjong with guys like Ed all the time because that's just who we are. We're not going to change it. We don't have to change it.
Thank you.
So Taiwan was actually ruled by Japan for 50 years. And so there's a tremendous influence on the Taiwanese people. Right? So when we were little, so the education system is, when I was growing up, was very Japanese style. We were taught, you keep your heads down. You work hard and you don't complain. So it's kind of, what Albert said is, it actually made people more reserved. And that's, the Chinese culture anyway, is you're more reserved. And I was telling my board members a funny story. I think just a few years ago, I did something for my mom. And I went to her house, and she put her hands out. She wanted to shake my hands. So, we don't shake hands here, Mom. We hug. Give me a hug. Okay, so that's kind of the culture of the Chinese parents. So I think one of the challenge that we, as a first generation immigrants, faced was the biculture balance. Okay, so how do we bring up our kids and also make sure their well-being is being kept? Also, we are teaching them the Chinese culture so they don't forget. Unfortunately, my kids cannot speak Chinese very well. We'll speak Chinese to them, they'll reply in English. And I think that probably happens in many different cultures. So that's one challenge. And I think the other challenge was, as I mentioned earlier, was how do you assimilate into the new society with a different attitude and different approach. So you can be successful in many different fronts. So, thank you.
Thank you.
You just talk about funny things, so which is a good segue into the next question. Next question.
Steve wants to answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have to leave you out.
What is your question?
Oh, no, man. I'm sorry. I was rushing through here. Steve, again, what was the most interesting and challenging you experienced while assimilating into our society in the States here?
Most interesting thing for me is the language barrier. So when I came to the States, I was like Alan. He started English education seventh grade, and I started Russian in the middle school. And during the Cultural Revolution, and the way you can learn English and the way. So I'm kind of intend to go outside to study. I was almost a 30-year-old. So no English teacher. What I do is I use the radio, listening to the VOA, the Voice of America, and they have a special English. Yeah, I still remember clearly that I can learn a lot of very slow. They speak very slow, very clear English. I can listen to the radio and learn English. Listening is almost 80% can get it. So when I take an airplane, fly to the country, try to go to BYU, and in airplane they show a movie, Tuesday. So I think I will watch this movie from beginning to the end. See how many words I can catch. Only 2 words. Hello, good morning. Oh, my goodness, how come I can study in America? Only no 2 words in the movie. So feel so sad. So when I passed the customer at the San Francisco, the customer, one guy in front of me, and the customer officer asked him, "What do you bring to the country?" I said, "What do you bring some gift for other people?" After about 3 times, that guy didn't get it. So I said, I ask you if you have gift to people. I said, "No, it's not good. I can hear something. I get it this time." So that guy's a student too. So that's the very difficult thing is when you sit in the classroom and the teacher teach you, give you a lecture, nothing, almost nothing you get, because that's not a special English. That's a normal English. So that takes me work very hard. So the only thing I can read it. People he has handouts, so can read it. The other people study with probably go to their dorm at after the dinner, they never come back to study. I have to study to the midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Yeah. So I have to study very hard. And on Friday, Saturday, Friday night, students go to dance, go to watch a movie, but I still have to study in my cabinet to read. Yeah. So that makes me to feel better. So I'm great as okay. In Chinese, you take a C and you are crying. So I'm doing okay, but get passes through the education. So yeah, that's probably most difficult part and the most interesting part for me as a challenge to get to see.
Thank you so much. And be so successful, and done so much for your family, and for this country and for the community you are in. So next part is a little lighthearted, stuff. I want to, you guys to tell me what was the funniest experience as a first-generation immigrant in America. Funniest. What is the funniest thing that you experienced coming here? Being here, funny.
I guess nothing's funny.
Nothing's funny. That's a lot of funny things. I can tell you one, but you go first.
Yeah, so I remember we were at the supermarket and I was paying and I forgot something. So I told my husband, I said, well, go get this for me. So he went and the cashier said, wow, you look so young for your son. I don't know what to say, I guess. My husband later said, maybe you were talking to me in a way like you're talking to your son.
Very good story. Thank you, man. Howard?
The funniest thing is actually quite funny. First came, I don't understand why Americans joke so much, and the jokes are not funny. For example, when I go play balls, they say, break a leg. And when someone dies, oh, he kicks bucket. What do they mean? It took me a little while to understand that Americans are very humorous. In most difficult times, when the Chinese thinking usually are very serious stuff, Americans can joke about it and take it over with. And the famous statement with my American friends that, hey, Albert, the sun will always rise tomorrow. There's nothing you should worry about. Life goes on. And so it took me a little while to understand the humor and how good that line of thinking is. Because I think the Chinese, a lot of time, thinking too seriously. Too much worry, and everything is difficult. Now, one instance which I thought was very, very funny is when my parents invited my parents to come and visit me. Because by that time I had a little bit of money. I sent them the money and said, come over and visit me. So they came. So I drove them around, and we were staying in Las Vegas in a fairly plush hotel. So I parked my car, the bellboy came, I took over my car, took my luggage, and handheld my parents, get them out of the car, and he then took our luggage to our room. My father just stood there, motionless. I said, Father, let's go to the room. He said, oh my God, what's happening to this place? You know, a white guy servicing us? We serve them, not the other way around. What's wrong with America? So I thought it was very good.
Very good. Good story. I know. I understand you are from Hong Kong. We were both, British subjects, so I can totally feel that. So, Steve, what is your funny story?
My funny story is when we just arrived in Salt Lake City, one of our friends took us to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken. So we eat the fried chicken, and after we eat, there's a little small pack. And I said, what's this for? That guy asked, he came about 2 years earlier than me. He said, oh, that's just gum. That's for you to remove your mouth, the oil smell. So he took it out. I really slower, but feel not like gum. He took it out and put it in mouth, chewy, and the bottle came out. Bottle gum? Oh, so wet. Not a problem. Another one is there's a theater in Salt Lake City. It's called a men's theater. So one day I tried to get a ticket. I'm going to go watch a movie with my sister. So I thought get two tickets. And the ticket, the lady said, for men? I said, no, it's for women. And that lady laughed in the laugh, and I didn't understand why she laughed. Well, the theaters, it's a men's theater. A theater for men's theater. I thought it's theater, the ticket is for men. I said, for my sister is a woman. I said, it's for women. Oh, they laughed and I don't laugh. That's kind of this kind of thing.
Very good. Very good. this time I'll tell my story too. This is an opportunity to tell my story. A funny story is when I came to this country. You know, I also like Albert, I was from Hong Kong, and I came here to start the school year in September. And if any of you been to Southeast Asia in Hong Kong, you know what the weather is like in Hong Kong. Right? It's really hot, humid. You know, this guy, you know, I was 17 years old at the time. You know, had glasses on. Whenever you walk out of the house or the restaurant, my glasses immediately fogged up. That's my experience. So I came here in August. That was August 1970, and my father's good friend come pick me up in San Francisco. Me with 2 luggages, 2 suitcases on a cart pushing it out and out the terminal and walk outside. I said, wow, America's really rich. They have air conditioning outside. That's my experience of America. Anyway, I have no more story to tell. Another drink, I'll tell you more stories myself. Okay, the last question. You know, all 3 of you are extremely successful. A good representative of our community here. So I would like you guys to share with me what would you consider is your major contribution to this country? Your major contribution to this country. Steve?
I produce 4 grandkids.
All right, you have 4 American grandkids. That's good contribution.
Someday will be president.
Yeah. Hopefully, I think that generation might have the opportunity, right? We might get to see it. Who knows, right? More? Any more?
My contribution is I probably kill about thousands of rats. I do research, biomedical research, use rat, mice. So when I pass away, maybe in the heaven, I get a greeting by the thousand rats.
Thank you, Steve. Helen?
Me, my contribution isn't as funny as Steve's, but the first wave of immigrants mostly are focused on railroads and garment industry. And the emergence of the second wave of the immigrants, which a lot of them, I'm talking strictly, for people from Taiwan during the 1950s to the 1990s, really changed the perception of the immigrants for the Chinese as the minority Chinese. And I think not just from the academic, also contributed to the workspace achievement, through the workspace achievement as well. So that's kind of the contribution I think we people immigrated from Taiwan has brought to the society.
I like to think that my contribution to this country was my success in business, driving the prosperity of America, successfully creating new business, the internet and things like that. But on second thought, I thought that was not very fair, because they didn't pay me very well to do that. So I'm not so sure I can call it a success. However, now I'm retired. I'm no longer making money. So I'm thinking maybe I can send some money to charity and do something good for society. That turned out to be what I now believe is the best way to handle my success. And we try to make people understand that playing table tennis, ping pong as you call it, is a really good exercise for seniors in particular. It's not as dangerous as pickleball. And it's indoors, so you can play anytime, right? And we teach you how to play. So if you have any questions, just come to the table center on Saturday. I'll be here. Okay.
This program is headed by Helen. Helen is our architect of the Disney segment, so I'm going to hand it over to Helen. Helen who?
Zach? Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much. So are we having fun yet? Great. Master Leo. I'd call him Master Wang, but he goes by the name of Master Leo. He's great. And it took us a while to find him. Because as Ed mentioned, there's not many people can do this. It's a well-kept secret, during this past 300 years. The dancers, what do you think of them? Wonderful, right? So, what are we going to do is, I'm going to give you a little bit history of China. And by the way, we're going to have a test at the end. Okay. I call this is a Dynasty program. The reason I said that is there's 4,000 years of history of China. We have 83 dynasties, 558 emperors. My God, we started learning history in 7th grade. What a task. It was just difficult. It was brutal. And it was confusing. It was complicated. Right? If you ask me today how many dynasties I can name, if I can name 12, I'm lucky. It's just, there's so much there. So, we only, during this whole 4,000 years, we only have one empress who ruled China for 16 years, okay? Now, the modern China actually started from 1949, 1912, 1949, okay? 1945, the Japanese surrendered. Japanese invasion to China ended. Okay, but then the civil war was still going on between the Nationalist Party and the Communist Party. So in 1949, the Nationalist Party, as I mentioned earlier, they went to Taiwan. Okay, so from 1912 to 49 is called Republic of China because the government was the nationalist government. And 49 to present is called the People's Republic of China. Okay, China today, 1.41 billion of people. 68% live in the urban area. There are 23 provinces, 5 autonomous regions. So places like Tibet, like Inner Mongolia or Xinjiang, they are considered the autonomous regions. 4 municipalities, cities like Shanghai, Beijing, and 2 special administration regions will be Hong Kong and Macau. Today we're going to only focus on the 3 dynasties. The Tang Dynasty, the Ming Dynasty. Wait, go back. Thank you. Okay, you'll do yours? Okay. Tang Dynasty, Ming Dynasty, and Qing Dynasty. Okay. I wanted to, before we move on, I wanted to talk a little bit about Qing Dynasty. You probably, do you know terracotta soldiers? Yes. Yeah, I think a lot of people, most of you, probably knows about it and also has seen it. That actually was built 2,000 years ago by Qing Dynasty, the first emperor of China who united China. Okay, that's 2,000 years ago. Unfortunately, he only ruled the country for 16 years. But he believed in after death. So he built this army, terracotta soldier. How many of you have seen it? Well, quite a bit. Impressive, right? They estimated 8,000 soldiers were built. Only 2,000 are excavated today. Okay, how it was discovered back in 1974. The farmer was drilling a well in his land, and they found terracotta pieces. They also found weapons, so that's how it was discovered. Okay, so moving on to the three dynasties. Why did we choose these three dynasties? Because they are the best, they represent the best of China history. Okay? So, Tang Dynasty is probably the greatest dynasty of China. Ming Dynasty, they have restoration of many monuments. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then Qing Dynasty, who is the last imperial era of China. Okay, also territory expansion. Okay. So, Tang Dynasty, 20 emperors, 1 empress I mentioned earlier. We'll go to the next. They are considered the greatest dynasty of the China history. Okay. They are the golden age of China culture. Their achievement, they are actually three different achievements. The first one is the restoration and expansion of the Silk Road. That is crucial to establish the standard of international trade later on for the other dynasties. Okay, 3 perfections: poetry, painting, and calligraphy. Okay, we can go to the next one. So these are the royal attire. The emperor, the empress, and this lady here on the right-hand side is the one I mentioned, that she was the only female emperor ruled China for 60 years. Okay. So what we're going to do next is I'll give you a little bit introduction on the dynasty. And we have our members going to wear the dynasty clothes, and they're going to come out and show you what it looks like. Okay, we're going to do it for all 3 dynasties. Next. Yeah, so in the Tang Dynasty, silk is the primary fabric for their clothes, especially for ladies. They are open, they are low cut, they are flowing, and they're like silhouettes, okay? And they're cosmopolitan styles. And the emperor's clothes, I have to say, all the emperor in the China history, yellow is the color they wear, okay? Because that really represents the power, the way of ruling the country. But in today's demonstration, we're going to have the emperor wear a red robe, which is very, it's a formal attire. Okay, it's not the yellow that he wears to the court. Okay? So, fortunately, we have Amy Lowe and Joseph Lam, who's going to show us the Tang Dynasty attire. Thank you, Amy and Joseph. Were they gorgeous? Yeah. They practiced really hard. Okay, the next dynasty is Ming Dynasty. Oh, by the way, Tang Dynasty ruled China for 289 years. Okay, Ming Dynasty for 276 years. Okay, and you can see the Great Wall on the map, right? That's the Great Wall. Okay. Great Wall expansion, that's one of their achievement. I don't know if you know, the Great Wall of China is about 13,700 miles long. Okay? It took over 2,000 years to build. It went through 20 dynasties to build a wall. Okay? Pretty amazing architecture. If you've ever been into China, go see it. You can only see a section in Beijing, but it's worth seeing it. They built the Forbidden City in China. Okay, so Ming Dynasty is the previous dynasty of the Qing Dynasty. Okay, so they built, it took them 14 years to build the Forbidden City, and it is beautiful. And Forbidden City is the world's largest palace today. It has 180 acres, 989 buildings, 9,999 rooms. Okay, you're probably wondering why not 10,000, right? The reason is the emperor believes himself he is the son of the heaven. Due to respect to the heaven, he will not bring 10,000 rooms. So it's 9,999 rooms. Okay, one of the other achievements the Ming Dynasty has made is the, we're gonna go back. It's the naval expeditions. They had 7 naval expeditions. This guy heads up this effort, went out on the expedition 7 times. I believe he had 280 vessels. He built 280 vessels with 28,000 crew members. Okay, so it reached as far as East Africa and Persian Gulf Coast. And that's really amazing, back then that they took such a long trip. And also, he established a lot of the trade between, the East and the West. Culture, high quality porcelain, blue and white. You've probably seen a lot of those on the market today. They also, the landscape painting, as well as the novels of drama. It's pretty significant in the Ming Dynasty. Okay, their artifacts. This is the blue and white porcelain I was talking about. And this is a beautiful jade carving. Okay, that's in the Palace Museum. The Forbidden City today is called the Palace Museum. It's got, I think it has over 180,000 artifacts in there. It's a pretty amazing collection. So for the Ming Dynasty, we're going to do a little bit differently. We're going to show you what they wear during their wedding. Okay. And their clothes is quite different than the Tang Dynasty, quite different than what you saw earlier, because they're heavy embroidered skirts and tops. The women's skirts are all pleated. We call them horse-faced skirts. Very heavy, and it's embroidered with gold. Okay. will see the phoenix coronet that is reserved for the royals. Also, if you look at the man's wedding dress, the motifs actually symbols happiness, good fortune, and longevity. Okay? So, we have Elisha In and Joseph Shea to show you the Ming Dynasty wedding attire.
I have to interject there. That was my wife. Little shower up here.
about Qing Dynasty. Okay, that's the last dynasty of China. As you can see, if you compare, always push the wrong button. Sorry. if you compare the territory between the two dynasties, Qing Dynasty really expanded quite a bit. And you see this white dotted line? That's the China territory today. Okay. Actually, they lost some territories, like Mongolia. They only kept inner Mongolia, and they lost Mongolia. So Mongolia became an independent country. Forbidden City. Sorry. Achievement. They're the fourth largest dynasty. They expanded over 5 million square miles. Okay. The border consolidation, Tibet, Xinjiang, and Mongolia. Okay, I talked a little bit about that. They create dictionary to standardize the Chinese language. Also, the porcelain is continued to improve. Okay, and they also develop the enamel colors as well. I think this is very important, is the development of the Beijing opera. Okay. I don't know, you probably haven't never seen an opera before, but that's a Chinese tradition. The face changing you saw earlier, that's from the Sichuan opera. Okay, so it's different, I guess, provinces, different areas has different, the language is different, the tones are different. Forbidden City, I talked a little bit about Forbidden City. 9,000 people lived in Forbidden City at any given time. It expanded, I think, when it was built until the Qing Dynasty was expanded 500 years. I think it served probably like 20 plus emperors in the city. 9,000 residents in Forbidden City. They include like the maid, of course, the emperor, the empress, their relatives. Oh, by the way, the emperors in China, they're pretty lucky guys because they have a lot of wives. They have one empress always, but they have the consorts. Could be 3, could be 4, could be 5. And then they have the concubines. Okay. So if I remember correctly, I think the Tang Dynasty, the first dynasty we saw, he's the luckiest guy. He had, oh gosh, over 300-400 wives. He exhausted, busy, right? The Ming Dynasty, I think he had like 200 wives. And in the Qing Dynasty, I think he had different emperors, right? So in the Qing Dynasty, I believe there are like 20 emperors. They all had between 40 and 60 wives. Now, when they passed away, their wives are pretty pathetic because they have no one to serve, and they normally move to an area where nobody really pays attention to them. Now, the Forbidden City, I think 40 years, if I remember correctly, it took about 1 million people to build the Forbidden City. 100,000 craftsmen. You probably don't know, the Forbidden City is built by wood blocks. They didn't use a single nail to nail the wood blocks together. It was an intricate design where all the wood blocks were fit together. Okay, so they do resist earthquake because of their structure, they do wave, shape accordingly. So that's a pretty amazing architecture. haven't seen it. The artifacts. This flower vase is the only one in the world, and it's in the Palace of Museum today. It was, I guess, 7 to 9 layers of different enamel. The emperor requested, but the craftsmen didn't know if they would be able to make it, but they made it. So they only made one. Okay. This is a jade piece. It looked like a Chinese cabbage. It's beautiful. It's in the Taipei Museum of Palace. This piece is, enamel and I think some of it is gold. It's heavily influenced by the Western culture. This is the traditional royal attire. The emperor, the empress, the prince, the princess. Okay. So the emperor's attire is one-piece robe, okay, with embroidery and a formal court hat. And you can tell the difference because they don't have the really wide, long, open sleeves. They're kind of they call it arrow cuffs. As I said, bright yellow is exclusive to the emperors and empress. And also on the emperor's robe, there will be 5-clawed dragon motif, as well as phoenix and clouds. They all wear a long, special long pearl necklace with jade. That's kind of the tradition for the emperor and the empress. Okay. It really represents the supreme power as well as the right to rule. Okay, next one. So, we're fortunate enough we have Miranda Lane, and Bill Lane to show us the emperor, the Qing Dynasty emperor and empress clothes.
our presenters, performers up here to the final curtain call. Please. Albert. Alan, thank you so much, the Fantasy Dance Group and our residents from the villages. I think it was a professional photographers would like to take a picture of all of you guys. Oh, me too? All right. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening with good food, and I hope you also learn something from our Chinese culture this evening. We'll see you all soon again in many other Chinese activities. The next big one is September 26th, the Mid-Autumn Festival Barbecue. September 26th. But there are many more other events if you do not then. Thank you.